All right, welcome back to Barely D&D. This week we're going to jump into another episode of Barely Explained, where me and Zachary, you talk about something random that's been on our hearts in D&D at large. And this week we actually have a really cool guest here with us. We have Jared from another D&D podcast called the Shatterblight Chronicles, which is really great. You should definitely go check it out. But we have Jared on here with us today. You want to say hi, Jared?
How you doing, guys? It's good to be here.
We're really excited to have Jared here. I got the privilege to talk with him a little bit before we started recording, and they have a lot of cool stuff that they're doing over on their podcast. Do you want to just give a quick rundown about just general information about y'all's show and stuff like that, or anything else going on?
Yeah, sure. We're a weekly actual play podcast, release every Wednesday. We're about to put out episode 21, so we're pretty new. We meant to start recording and releasing in early 2020, and then we all know what happened.
Yep. Yeah. Life changed for everybody.
Yeah. So it's an actual play podcast using 5th edition. I'm not gonna lie, I do throw in 3rd edition, some of the chunkier stuff I like.
Heck yeah.
Oh, really?
Old editions.
Heck yeah.
And I listen to a lot of Pathfinder podcasts as well, so that kind of inspires the beefing up some rules that I think need beefing. But we're mostly a 5th edition podcast.
You got to make it interesting somehow, right? You got to throw some spice in there.
Yeah. And I get a lot of times the 5th edition guys are going for allowing the DM to kind of run with their own rules, so I appreciate
which
that.
is part of what makes it work so well. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, I think he's being a bit modest. Their podcast has dope music, really good voices, their characters are good. You guys should go listen to it. But we're excited to have him on.
Thank you.
We really
Thank
are.
you.
And typically with Barely Explained, a big thing for us is shouting out the whiskey or the drink that we're drinking this week. And this week,
hey, there he is.
There we go. What are you drinking?
Right there with you.
What are you drinking, Jared?
I'm drinking some scotch tonight.
Hey,
we are too.
Dude, so are we.
We got some Lagavulin.
Heck yeah. What's the scotch you got?
What do you got?
We got Lagavulin. 16-year Lagavulin. Nice.
I got a 10-year in my cabinet. I was either gonna pour that, or I went with Port Charlotte's extra peated.
Dude, heck yeah.
Extra peated. That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm a big smoker.
Do we do if we toast, if Landon and I clink our glasses together, we'll do the same thing.
There we go.
3,
I'll
2,
just
1.
pretend.
Raise a glass. There we go. All right. So let's get
Thanks, fellas.
No, thanks. Yeah, thank you. So this week we are going to be jumping in and talking about just encounters at large and just kind of the dynamic they play in a campaign. And so Zachary, I'm going to let you kind of take the lead on this because you have a little bit more experience than I do when it comes to creating things. So you want to handle the kickoff real quick?
Yeah, sure. And not to call you out, Jared, have you heard about Barely Explained before? It's fine if you haven't.
Yeah.
Okay. See, he already knows what's going on.
Me and my buddy on my podcast, Watt, actually listened to you guys when you started.
Man,
kind of kept up. So it's actually a fun coincidence that this happened.
Oh, awesome.
You're warming my heart.
That's so cool.
I check the stats all the time, so now I'll know that 2 of those are you guys.
2 of those. So the 3 listeners are my mom, Jared, and his other friend from.
But all I'm getting at is that
joke that we have one listener named Chuck in Wyoming.
Oh, really?
that's our running joke.
Yeah. So the only reason I bring that up is that Landon will ask questions sometimes, but I mean. We kind of do it just around. So if you have a question at any point,
like if you have somebody you want to ask us, feel free.
But to open up, because I think we can get into the really crunchy, gritty stuff in a second. But just right out of the gate, what's your proudest encounter you set up? What's the encounter where when you think back to it, you're like, man, that was dope.
Ooh. All right. So we were running Lost Mines of Foul Endeavor.
Okay.
And they fought. Anybody out there there's a possible encounter with a young green dragon, Venom Fang.
Ooh. Dang.
I think it's there to teach people you don't need to do every fight.
That's a good lesson for parties. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So they fought him, and a group of 3 especially was no match. So 2 made it out alive, and they hightailed it to Neverwinter, which is not in that adventure path. So I homebrewed a bunch of stuff where there's oh gosh, what are they even called now? There's a dome inside of the city that's holding I can't remember the name of the creatures at bay. And I decided to, as they got to the city, basically the city's on alert, the dome's collapsed, these creatures are spilling out.
Sick.
And
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was like a wave-based encounter, which
that's
basically
awesome.
Yeah. So they were protecting a wizard while increasingly more difficult things crawled out of the pit.
Dude, that's really cool. I'm not trying to talk about your encounter, but I think you bring up something really cool. Is that I think a lot of DMs struggle with the idea of like once a party gets stronger, it's like I just got to keep getting bigger stuff, and it's like sometimes, but because I think DMs run into the issue of, well, I can only use so many creatures because I'm not keeping track of 30 initiative orders. It's not fun anymore. But I mean, you bring up a really good point that like waves are awesome, and also they don't have to be equal waves. When you get waves, like when the waves keep getting worse, that's such a good way to do things.
Yeah. And it was fun because I gave them I think I gave them some like health potions and some a potion of heroism, some like other buffy kind of things.
Dude, dope.
But I was rolling, I think it was a D4 between each wave, how many hours it would be until the next wave hit.
Oh,
so they would have some like short resty downtime, but they they kept misjudging and they'd pop a potion and then they would be done.
Oh my gosh.
So it was fun on my side of the table.
You made it feel like a special level in a video game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun though.
It's a really memorable encounter.
And I like what you were saying, like and I think a lot of that's where the struggle with a lot of encounter building is when you're looking at like the adventuring day, so to speak, is I think there's a hesitancy for a lot of DMs to throw or to say like you can't take a rest yet, that balance finding it. So are you trying to get your difficulty in because you're doing like 5 or 6 less challenging encounters and the difficulty comes with like resource management, or are you just going to throw like 2 or 3 hard ones at them?
Yeah. And I think part of why that makes it work so well is that, players can get in a place where they learn that like the thing that makes a fight difficult is action economy. And then like, ability to hit points, ability, something like that, and it's like, there's so many different ways to make an encounter engaging, like you're talking about, where like, I mean, you can take an experienced party and make it about judging. I mean, just like you said, I'm just repeating, but I'm doing the middle school to piggyback off that thing.
I'm kind of in the space where I have not done a lot of DMing, and I'm whoever's listening to this yet, I love that attitude. So I'm still trying to figure out like creating encounters that aren't just party meets giant monster and they spend turns hitting each other until they go on to the next giant monster, because I know that that's not fun. Because I tried to DM a few sessions with my brothers-in-law, and God bless them, they were really nice to me, but there were a lot of things that I did wrong and a lot of things that I could just tell. It was like, by the end of it, it was like, okay, when is this gonna be done? So that's really cool. I'm definitely like taking mental notes. Okay, waves, like stuff doesn't have to be difficult just because it has a high CR. Like you can like throw other dynamics in there.
Well, and there's 1,000 monsters you can pull out of the books that are and maybe it's just 5th edition. That's obviously what I'm probably, and you're probably most comfortable with.
Yeah, far and away.
I know, at least in this edition, like CR is a good kind of guide rail, but there's some low CR stuff that will mess a party up. And the high CR thing is just a meat tank,
Yep.
So
yeah, I think
I actually took Sturges, which is like what 1/8 CR, I think.
Yeah.
But they were in like a cave system with in Valendever actually, and they had been like augmented, I guess. So instead of like draining blood, they would steal spell slots.
Oh,
So
dude, that's sick!
Oh my god,
I have to write that down. That's amazing. What?
Yeah, that they did not like that too much.
Do you care if I take that? That's amazing.
Go for it, man.
I'm not just
I'm
trying to
sure
flatter
somebody
you.
else
That
tried
was
it.
like one of the best ideas I've ever. That was so good. Holy crap.
Oh my gosh, our campaign.
Yeah, sorry about
so
this.
rough. Zachary's gonna mention Sturges in the next episode. I'm just gonna be like, oh my gosh.
I think, just on the icebreaker question, I think I've run a number of combats that I've enjoyed, but I think my favorite it wasn't the most innovative combat I've run. Like, I mean, there's definitely been better, but there was a point where I was running 2 campaigns at once, and we were, but they're set in the same world at the same time, which is actually still currently happening with, one of the 2 from that one and then the current one. And so we did this big crossover thing.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was mania. People had to drive super far, and there were like 7 or 8 players at the table. But it was just so much fun. And basically I had just been like, hey, there's a dragon. And I actually can't say too much because it's spoilers for the current campaign. But
Oh really?
the dragon had gotten into something and was like a little extra beefy. And so it was basically like, you come help this other party stop the dragon, or both campaigns are over. Like, because this thing's going to kill everybody. So everybody wins or everybody fails. So then my job is just done on stakes. Like, everybody was like, okay, we care. But the thing that made it fun was, one, I set it on, it was a white dragon. And so, the notes in the book are always like, you put it in the Arctic environment. I just put it on the top of a mountain. Because I thought about all of the things that could make a dragon encounter hard. And I was always like, people just never use the fact that dragons fly. And so just the main thing, like there's a barbarian in their party who's just like impossibly beefy. And the barbarian almost died. And basically it was just a druid knowing, it was my like best friend's encyclopedic knowledge of animals and their speeds. This is the only thing that saved the barbarian, because when the dragon couldn't kill him, he just picked the barbarian up and threw him off the mountain. And then the barbarian was just flying down the mountain. So the party was scared of that the whole time. But the fun thing was I just gave this dragon a ton of like extra abilities because I had a bunch of really veteran players at the table. So like, oh, cool, dragon, we know it's coming. And I think the thing that made that encounter so memorable was that one, it was just fun because everybody was there. But then 2, it was fun because everyone kept being like, we know what's next. And then that's not what happened. And they were like, so yeah.
That's always fun to toy with them with
yes.
expectations versus reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally get that. I don't know if you're in the same, it sounds like you're maybe in the same vein as me, but I'm not afraid to kill a character. I know some, and that's some people's games. That's totally what they want to do. They
which is fine.
One group all the way through. I love listening to shows and playing in games where there's new characters coming in all the time. Either because story reasons you brought a character out and brought a new one in, or you got killed. So I'm a DM that's a little rougher on the party than some others. Yeah, but all my players love it. That sense of danger.
I mean, when your players are on board, it's, and I'm not trying to speak every line, but when the players on board, it's awesome because most of the people in our campaigns have been pretty attached to their characters, but I just like it because when death is real, people care. And so I haven't actually killed anyone yet, but I've had like 5 different characters get so close.
As a player, I really like the balance you take in our campaign, because
I'm really glad you didn't say as a player. I hate
as a player, this is my least favorite part, because you're like, you make it very clear that you're not afraid to kill a character and that death is very real, but you also don't want to. Technically,
I don't want you
like, you don't want us to die, but you're not afraid to kill us. And so I kind of appreciate that. And also, I don't know, I feel like everything works towards lifting up the story and promoting the adventure as a whole. And so if the death of a character can promote that and keep that going, and also, like you said, like keep that dynamic going, like sessions, like we're on like session like 19 now, and so like how many sessions can you go through, and it's like, okay, well, maybe we should bring in someone else now.
The day you guys get tired of Craig, everybody just turns on him.
Like, oh, sorry, we rolled a d20 off session and Craig just died.
I forgot to bring up that your family had a history of heart disease.
Sorry, Craig. He's our barbarian in our party, and we always riff off him because he's the easiest to do it too.
Nice.
I heard you mention earlier that you pull in a material from other editions and other kind of role playing games, and I wanted to ask, and if the answer is no, I completely understand. But have you ever pulled in like mechanics from another role playing game or edition to use in an encounter?
Good question.
Yes, but not. I think 5th edition is such a different beast that it's hard to pull them in as is, and not like fit it to this edition. So I've definitely pulled in quite a bit. My most recent thing, well, I guess it's not probably the most recent, but I recently pulled in knowledge. I'm not a big fan of research mechanics in 5th edition, where you're basically just making an intelligence check and paying a bunch of gold. So I did. I borrowed from Pathfinder 2nd edition, which it's kind of like a skill check encounter where there's like a library or something has kind of like quote unquote health points, and you're making skill checks against them. So once you reach thresholds, you're learning bits of information, and maybe those have like a tangible effect. Like I think I have stuff where like if they go down like I think a 3 or 4 tier path at the end, they'll get a permanent knowledge check bump to like knowing about these races that live on this island, kind of a thing. So I like to go
deeper. That's a freaking cool mechanic, dude. Wow. Is this in one of the recorded episodes?
It's
because I haven't gone that far.
It comes up in around episode 10 for us.
Okay, I might go listen to that because that's a really. I'll credit you if I need to. That's a really cool sounding thing.
Hit me up on the side. I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, heck yeah.
Oh, man.
Cool. That kind of thing also then kind of becomes like a side quest, because for the rest of the campaign they can, if they have downtime, because I think that's another thing a lot of DMs forget to give players downtime.
Dude,
they can train, or they can do these research things where like weeks are passing. So
downtime's like a resource. It's not a I mean, just recently our last 2 episodes were about downtime.
I think the first 12 episodes of our campaign were straight downtime, to be honest.
That's a good point.
We have like 25 hours of D&D combat that's not combat content, that's just downtime. So
that's very true. Yeah, never mind.
As long as everybody's having fun, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, heck yeah. It was chaotic and it was fun. And learned lessons, made friends, made enemies.
A few.
Checked all the boxes.
I also love to talk about previous editions and what I brought in. Our campaigns, it's basically like a subcontinent that's mostly tropical zone. So Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones were like huge inspirations.
Oh, that's so cool.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I thought like you can't have a jungle slog without introducing a lot of diseases. So I've pulled a lot of diseases out of
Thank you. Yes.
Lots of,
I have no plans.
Score damage.
Yes, dude. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I mean, and
I'm just getting more scared.
Yeah, don't worry about this, Landon. I bet this has
ears and not listen if you need me to.
I bet this has no bearing on your world, but thank you. There are so many ways to. Honestly, I think it engages players more when it's not just health. Because when you lose health, you're like, I know the answer for that. Healing. But when you give them challenges and impediments that aren't just repair your health score, that's when they freak out, because it doesn't actually matter how challenging it is. It's the fact that it's unexpected. Dude, yes.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And giving a disease at like the right time where, maybe it's got a day onset and like this hard encounter is coming. By the time, if anybody fails that check, it's going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
You were telling me about a character in the other campaign and a certain item they had where they have like a certain amount of days until.
Yeah. So currently, and it's fine because I know he doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, he'll listen to this.
There's a player in the other campaign. He made this like really edgy character who is great and we love. But he's basically just like, do you know what an ill rigger is?
No. Yeah.
It's one of Matt Colville's classes. It's like a
that's right.
A knight of hell. Yeah. So he's an ill rigger, and the rest of the party are just goody two shoes. So he's a weird fit, but they're in this huge loot dump recently, and they had all these items to choose from, and he just chose every single bad looking item in the room, which he looks awesome. I think 3 of his 5 magic items are cursed now. But he looks cool.
Does he get a bonus
And-
to charisma check because of how cool he looks now to give him a
I'm
bonus?
saying. And he has this glaive, and right now he has no idea that it's a mechanic. But if he doesn't spill blood with it every 10 days, it will compel him to try and kill the thing nearest to him. And he has yet to figure that out. So right now he's like, I love this weapon, and I'm like, in 10 days the party's gonna want to kill you. And when I was describing it, I was like, you can see the malfeasant qualities and the blood in his eye, and he's like, I like the aesthetic, and I'm like, okay. Yeah,
That's awesome. I'm a big fan of cursed stuff too.
yes, heck yeah. But anyway, climbing back onto the encounter topic.
I was actually, just for my own kind of learning, how do you create stakes? Like, what are the best ways to create stakes in encounters and kind of make the threat real for the players in order to, I don't know, get them more engaged? Like, what are some ways that you've kind of gone about that?
It can be a tough one because there's, like you were saying, there's a lot of times where maybe encounter is just like you're whacking on an ogre for a while.
Yeah.
But I always try to. I'm very narrative driven. I'm in another life I would be a novelist, and maybe in this one still.
Snaps.
It's not too late. Just
so
start
I write,
typing.
Yeah, I write an excessive amount of narrative for our campaign. So we have like cutscenes. Basically.
Feel you.
So story is very important to me. So I try to find like a story element I can bring into combat mechanics to make it, I don't know, just to make it more than just hitting with swords and spells. We have, I thought it hasn't aired yet, but it's whatever. We have they're basically trying to track down somebody who's got captives, and they find one of the captors with some of the captives on a trail slope leading up. So they have high ground when they find them, and she's behind the captives for cover. So there's you have partial cover situation. You have, if you roll a 1, you're probably gonna hit a captive. Just things like that to make them think about positioning and think about what they're doing, and are you using something where she's making a save instead of you're throwing a projectile their way. So just find ways to make it, like you're saying, like it's not just there's a third element, or there's always you come upon 2 groups that you're not aligned with that are fighting, and see who.
That's a very good one. You don't know who you're standing with. Yes.
Yeah.
I had all these answers, and then you stole them, which was weird.
It sounds like a cop.
Immediately, I was gonna be like, "Well, the first thing you want is to make sure it's narrative driven," and then you said that, and I was like, "Okay, well, he hasn't talked about the importance of setting yet," and then you talked about that, and I was like, "Okay." So I mean, he's right. It's. I think maybe a really good tool too is variability. It's good when some fights aren't as important, because it contrasts the ones that really are. I mean, I'm sure you're aware. I'm sure you're plenty experienced that, like, different groups have different goals when they're in combat, and they want different experiences from it. But like almost every group wants to feel awesome pretty regularly. Yeah. So I really like giving people a pretty good balance between, like, I basically use like a 2-to-1 ratio. I'm not saying I keep it that exact, but like, two combat encounters that are pretty easy and the group's just going to look awesome, for everyone where like it's really high stakes. And I think that keeps people not sure what they're going to get. And then, I mean, just everything you said about narrative, and I mean, if the party's concerned they're going to die, they'll care. Yeah. If the party's concerned that an NPC they're in love with is going to die, just their favorite, I mean, they will lay down their lives. I mean, tell me that if Spagoober wasn't held by somebody, you guys wouldn't.
Oh, we would comb the sea and crawl through every mile of the world to rescue Spagoober from the clutches of evil.
Yeah. So,
oh my gosh. I don't mean to answer my own question, but one thing that comes to my mind is, I don't know, I feel like players are really good at creating their own stakes when they make stupid decisions. Which we have learned.
Oh, good answer.
I'm really good at answering my own questions. Who would have thought? But there was recently where we traded things for magic items in the city, and one of our characters got a ring of Scorching Ray. And he was wanting to prove himself as of being strong and I don't know, able to do useful. And so we were about to go do some surveillance on an army, and we were going to make camp for the night. And he's like, I'm going to start the fire. I'm going to start the campfire. Zachary just finished describing this open field of tall grass and tons of refugees. And Craig was like, the barbarian was like, I'm going to use these rings to start the campfire. And I'm like, Craig, that could start a wildfire. And she
used those exact words.
The words that she used were pew pew, and she shot the rings of Scorching Ray, and definitely created a wildfire. And literally thousands of people were going to die, and the entire countryside was going to be burned if we didn't stop this fire.
Geez.
And only one of us had any spells to do with water because we were only level 3, and so it would have been very bad.
It just came down to rolls.
It came down to rolls. And it was this one.
I think it captures like both of y'all's answers because, one, I mean, I think you're pointing out really well, and I'm not trying to like summarize what you're saying, but like, leaning into players' mistakes makes encounters, because it both makes them feel in control of the narrative, and it also makes them feel like their choices matter. Like making their mistakes count against them in fights, is really significant. And then also it worked because I mean the campaign had been really lighthearted, and then it would have like you guys would be mass murderers, and
I'd be like, can we start a new campaign now?
And so I mean
that's awesome. We always, I mean, we're not the only group that says this, so I probably stole it, but let the dice like tell the story. Like you have
Heck yeah.
You know, the DM has something in mind, or you're following a pre-written adventure, whatever, but like if those dice come up a certain way, you got to follow that path. So I totally appreciate that.
I think it also makes a good point that
sorry,
no, it's all good.
You have an interesting thing that hasn't a particular dice roll affects a player and he has no idea, but it's going to not be great for him. And I'm very, very much looking forward to it. I'm
gonna start listening more. So before this was happening, I'll just be real with you. I was like, oh crap, Landon, I forgot to listen to the podcast. And he was like, well, we've got a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay. And I pulled it up and I listened to like 5 minutes, and I was like, this is really good. I should have been listening to this. So I'm going to listen, as it goes forward. But I don't know. Now that like, I feel like this is just like a 20-minute like teaser trailer from you. And now I really want to start listening because I want to know what this role is.
Hey, if we listen to each other, right? We got more fans that way.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, this totally isn't us just patting our own backs. I think you bring up another really cool thing too, because in the other campaign, so there's a warlock in the other campaign, and I can't tell you too much because it's spoilers, but there's a warlock in the other campaign, and he's I mean, it's, you know, it's not innovative warlock setup. He is like at odds with his patron, but he's still a source of power. And so there's a really interesting dynamic in every encounter because this character needs to use the abilities effectively, but then like every time he uses more and more of the abilities, he's giving like, it's like this character wants to use as few of the abilities as possible because he hates his patron, but he needs to use the abilities because he has to keep his friends from dying. And so like, I think that's a really good example of how to make encounters like count, is that you know, giving like you said, narrative, giving like players consequences when the only consequence is life and death. It's not bad, but when there's all these other consequences possible about like, you know, what does this mean for your story, what does this mean for, you know, how connected you are to this power, it just makes things matter.
I totally agree.
I think narrative is of course a huge part of encounters, but also I feel like, as with any part of D&D, balancing them is very intimidating to me. Like learning how to do, figuring it out, because it can come down to just numbers and whacking each other in action economy. But
It's always action
But I mean,
economy.
as we've been talking about, there's a ton of different ways to do it. So what are some ways that you try to balance the encounter for the party to make sure that it's not too much? Or does too much even exist?
I think it depends, honestly. Too much. I think it's completely valid to have a fight that will either result in a TPK or at least like everybody but one dies, but with the caveat that like you give them an out.
Yeah.
They don't have to go through that. But just for the average design, I think a lot of it comes down to, first and foremost, it comes from when you're used to your players and you know their skill level. I think the challenge rating system in 5th edition is, in my humble opinion, scaled very, very heavily for new players.
I agree.
If you have a veteran player, they're going to walk all over encounters that might be quote unquote hard. So
and if they have a magic item,
the rule. You're right there.
I mean, yeah, if they have magic items, just forget it.
Yeah, that's I've always. It took me some balancing and some. I'm a nerd. I look at a lot of forums to like what are other DMs doing.
Oh, dude, heck yeah,
There seems to be like a 20% rule if you want an encounter to be like deadly, for example, like actually deadly. The XP that would put it in the deadly category by the book. Add 20% XP to it, get that monster up that high, then it's actually deadly. So that comes from knowing my players can handle that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't lean into it as hard if I was like, I've ran my family and my nephew he's like 9 and he wanted to check it out. I didn't throw a bunch of stuff at them.
You didn't give him Venom Fang?
This is what character death feels like. Welcome to the real world.
Well, hey, little Timothy, this is what mortality is.
Yeah, but it's hard, and honestly, for someone who runs a game about math, basically, I'm not good at it.
Dude, preach.
So I use a lot of tools like Kobold Fight Club to just do quick. Idea of in a particular encounter's difficulty. I do a lot of like 5e tools has the CR calculator if you're homebrewing a monster, so you can kind of keep it within the guidelines of a rough official monster, so you're not going too hard into the paint, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I think it really comes down to knowing your party more than anything, in my opinion, at least in this edition.
I mean, again, he keeps saying the important stuff first. He's Jared's right. It's and I think maybe you even hit the nail on the head with like, I mean, action economy is everything, ability countering. I could talk about all this stuff, but honestly, man, it's knowing your party. That really is. And so I think maybe, I mean, if you're trying to like shock your party, go nuts, I guess. But I think my policy is always give them 5 combats of you're pretty sure they're going to be fine, and then figure out, and still make them interesting, still make them variable, but like basically give them 5 that are probably not deadly is my policy, and then learn how experienced are they, how well do they work together, let them learn some things, let them get some loot, and then I start challenging them.
I think you broke that rule with us because our first combat encounter literally almost killed like 2 characters.
Okay, but I knew y'all though. Like in the campaign, it was the first one, but outside of the campaign and one shots and stuff, you guys had like 7 combats at that point.
That makes sense.
So I knew what you guys could and couldn't handle.
I was just saying, the beginning chunk of our story, because I knew the guys, the same thing for me. It's a very deadly beginning for level 1 players, so
which is then really fun.
Yeah. And it's very stressful because, like you said earlier, like they trust me to be this hard on them because they know that I put probably more time into what their character's story is going to be than they even have. So I want them to live.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm doing poetry snaps.
No, but I mean, when like you can trust your DM when you know that they'll be as sad as you are if your character dies. I think, and actually as a last point, especially because, we get so invested in these campaigns, whenever I've done it for y'all, I did it on that last fight. I play tested. But
Really?
that's the only one I've done for you. The other campaign I've play tested 3 or 4 now. When they're gonna go do something that I know could very well be a TPK, I run it first. And that's not a very sexy answer. Like that's just like saying like, okay, I'm gonna take 2 hours to just do math. You don't even have the fun of sound effects and descriptions. You're just going, okay, and then they would probably do that, then they would probably do that. But it's important to me enough to know that I'm not gonna steamroll y'all. That like I'll just sit there and just do the math, and that's I know for me usually my gauge of doing it right is like if I've balanced it so that if they roll well, people could die, and if they roll badly, people will die, at least half the party. But if they roll well, there's really only a chance of one dying. I've really got a high stakes encounter balanced well. And then the best thing is I always know that I'm trending that down a little bit because I know that they're really smart, and I never manage to play as cleverly as they do. So, yeah.
Well, it's hard to play. Like I think there's some players out there that maybe it's when they're playing like some random startup at a comic shop where they don't know the DM.
Yeah.
But I think there's you shouldn't have you shouldn't have all the time or the prep, or like it's not fair that you know these things and we don't. But it's that balance. Like
yeah.
No matter how much I've prepped, 4 brains are going to figure something out.
Yes.
That I just don't have the ability to know.
Which makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because I want to challenge the party, but I always want the party to live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I remember one time, I think we skipped maybe like 4 like adventures of what you had planned because I wild shaped into a fox.
Yes.
And we were trying to chase down and look and see where this general was heading. And we saw the army, but there were so many of them, and there was no way we were going to be able to get close enough without them seeing us. And like it was in the same area we were talking about earlier, tall grass, like very thick. And I was like, I wild shape into a fox. I'm going to go over there and look at him. And you gave me like 3.
Yeah, you had to succeed a lot of checks.
I had to succeed a lot of checks, and there was one check where
you made by 1.
I only made it by 1, and I didn't realize, but I think I would have died. There was a good chance I would have passed.
Yeah, that would have been the end of Boz.
Yeah, I was like, okay, foxes have a burrow speed of 5 feet. If something goes wrong, I'll just start digging and hope that they don't come after me.
But the best part about all of it was that you like, okay, so I think I'm gonna wild shape into a fox, and then like I lost almost everything you said after that because it was just like just that like I forget the music, but the doodaloo doodaloo doodaloo. And in my head, I was just like, "That's right, druids wild shape.
Druids
it's like
can wild shape
their whole thing." I was like, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But see, that sounds like the perfect scenario because my wife doesn't understand this game at all. Like why I want to play. And I think there's a lot of people out there that I'm like, you can't. It sounds ridiculous. But until you've done something like that and you scrape by with a 1-point roll difference,
the tension is
like,
wild.
It's such a feeling. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Yes.
I got married, and when I did, I was not into D&D at all. Like I listened to it every once in a while as a podcast, but my wife had no idea that I was going to become this invested in a nerd math game.
I mean, she really, you blindsided her hard.
Oh yeah. So yeah. But I think,
like 2 years ago, I was like, I'll never be that nerdy.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to LARPing yet, but who knows what's gonna happen. On my TikTok For You page, they've started putting LARPing videos like in my feed, and I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. I'm like, stop it, quit.
We just had a conversation about LARPing in our group. That was like, basically, like, I don't know if I could handle being around or involved with that crowd, like what it takes.
Yeah.
But just the idea of hitting people with fake swords sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It's like paintball for nerds.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I think
maybe.
They talked about in the 80s, everyone was so worried that D&D was the gateway to so many things. And it is. Mm-hmm. It's the gateway to pretending you're 8 again. And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretending like you're in elementary school. Yeah,
that should be like cross stitch on a pillow or something. I feel like
my question for you, Jared, was I am willing to kill a character but it still makes me feel like I'm going to throw up every time. I hate the sensation. And I wanted to ask, when was the time you were the most nervous for the party? Like, when was the time where you were like, oh, crap?
If we're talking about our podcast specifically, it was actually like a chunk of time. I wanted to set the stakes so high for the beginning of the story.
And then you went, oops.
And, episode 2, and like, you know, after the classic, the party meets up first episode, they're chased by a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, wow.
It's so awesome.
And it was like, I used some chase mechanics, and I baked in some, basically if like they failed the deck save, I'd roll on a table, and maybe they, I don't know, tripped on a tree branch, or things that both them or the T-Rex could get slowed up by. So I was trying to give them like time, and I gave them a head start in a certain manner that I won't go into and ruin.
Sure.
But I wanted them to feel like on death's door every single round without actually putting them on there.
Yeah.
But I also knew that like, I'm not one to fudge dice. So if like, they rolled terribly or I rolled incredibly well, I don't know.
It's just got to be what it is.
What would have happened?
Yeah,
it was fun. It was terrifying. But I did exactly what you're saying. I felt sick to my stomach,
dude. Yeah. And on the cover, you look so calm. And I'm really good at keeping a poker face. But there have been some times.
I know you're like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah, you've known me my whole life. But the rest of the party is like, man, he just doesn't care. And inside, I'm just like, oh, no. But yeah. When have you felt the most nervous so far?
The most nervous I felt. I don't think there's ever been a period where I was really, really nervous. The wildfire for sure. The wildfire for sure was the most nervous part. And it wasn't nervous for me. I was nervous about the consequences of the actions. But boss, it's always been like worried about other members of the party, never myself.
So you weren't that scared with the whole Dolgo thing?
No, because I was always like a step away from him.
That's true. That's true.
I was never
removed yourself.
Yeah, I like got out. Like it was a basically we're in the city.
So really, I should be asking Abby or Micah.
Yeah, because they'll probably be.
They're the ones who are almost always dying.
Oh yeah, I always am like, y'all have fun. I'm gonna like do magic stuff over here.
Your character has like 23 hit points or something.
Yeah. I'm doing him a weird way because I got this magic item, this staff magic item, and I got to level 4, and I was like, I guess I could take an ability score improvement. Or I could take Polearm Master. And so I took
as a druid.
I was like, Polearm Master. And when I get to level 8, I'm taking Battlecaster so I can hold his shield up and have my polearm that I can hit twice with. And it's just
he's the weirdest character in the world because he has an AC of 18
with if I have
level
a shield.
4
if
with
I have
a shield. Yeah. AC of 18. A magical staff that can do extra damage. Polearm Master. But 23 hit points.
Yeah.
So he's never going to be in the front, but when that day comes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But see, that's beautiful. Like my buddy Wah on our podcast he plays a warlock.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, we didn't plan this. Like,
Yep.
It has naturally occurred, but he has become the tank of the party.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, and it's every time he does something, and he's like kind of what you're saying. Me and him both played the same kind of characters, where you're not building for optimization.
You're building for story. Yeah.
So I totally appreciate the polearm man.
And I was never planning on it. I was just like looking through. I was like, what can I do that's like different? And I was like, oh, I could take a polearm feat as a druid.
There's a sorceress in the other party and I'm not kidding. They're at level 12 and she has 139 hit points.
That's crazy.
Because it was my good friend's first character and she didn't know how to do stuff. And I was like, helping her and giving her advice, but I also wanted it to be hers. And basically I told her what each thing did. And she was like, so which one keeps me alive? And I was like, well, Constitution is like how resilient you are. But as a caster, charisma. And she was like, okay, yeah, my high score goes there. And then all of her ability score increases have been there. And then Jared, when I tell you I've never met someone, it doesn't add up. I don't know how she rolls the way she does. the majority of her rolls, like just the dice, no modifiers, are like over 15. It's disturbing.
Yeah, just that natural good luck.
It's crazy. And it hasn't run out in like a year and a half. And every time she rolls hit points, she's like, oh, an 8. And I watch her do it. And it's so anyway. Yeah, it's wild.
For like 5
That's
episodes, I'd rolled a 1. We have a rule: if you roll a 1 on your health increase,
Yeah, I never
he
make
lets us
players keep
re-roll
ones,
them,
'cause
and
that sucks.
I had like 6 less hit points than I should have had for like 5 episodes.
Yep.
So
Anyway,
because we're all first time, most of us are first. Like I've listened to it and I've like read it and I dabbled in a little bit, but I've never played to this extent before. And so there's many instances where you're like, okay, we're learning, but never do that again. And I'm just kidding. You know, you always do that. No. So yeah.
yeah, man. Very cool.
It's there's a lot of I think once you've played even just one character, like you learn so much and actually doing it that first time, more than reading a book will ever teach you. So
yeah.
And I think the wild thing about getting into D&D is you do it, and at the beginning it's so overwhelming. You're like, how could I ever comprehend all of this? And I think you just kind of like look up one day at level 5 and you're like, how did I learn all this? And it's
right,
and you're like, you don't remember and it doesn't add up, but then you just do, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and then Landon said you sound a lot like me, Zach. You threw yourself into this.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah. And like, I mean, I've read, all the books back to front.
Yep.
Or front to back, I guess probably is.
They have
No,
like,
back to front.
they have like little like
Yeah,
tabs in them. Some of them do.
I still we've been playing for almost 5 years now.
Dang, dude, nice.
Wow.
And I continually find rules that I forgot about,
Always.
or just never saw, or
Mhm.
I mean, it blows my mind. I'm like, okay, I've got this.
Yeah.
I've got it figured out.
Mhm.
And
Dude, heck yeah.
somebody asked me a question.
I've gotten to the point where like most of the spells in any of the books, you can bring them up and I'm like, oh, it does that. And I'm like, man, I know this. I've got this game. And I like know what page numbers of the weapons are on. And then the other day, Landon runs the DM NPC when they're in combat. And he was doing bonus action hide sneak attack. That's it. Just the foundation of rogues. And he was like, well, it says I shouldn't I have advantage on the attack? And I was like in my head, it was just the dial up tone. And I was like, yes. And I had to get up the player's handbook and look up like the defining trait of rogues. So yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. I've been there
so
man.
much.
Don't worry.
Yep.
There's been a lot of grace that you've given us as we've kind of like done things that were definitely not allowed by the rules. And there was one time where
I know
it was like early on. I think it was episode 4, The Amazing Race.
It was episode 4.
We were supposed to go do something, and literally the entire episode was us racing down a dock because we decided we were going to make it a competition. And Craig, the barbarian, all great stories begin or end with Craig.
It's true.
So
our campaign would not be the same thing without Craig.
He jogged past me and he made some snide remark about me, and I was like, oh, this is it. And so I wild shaped into a bird. Technically should not have been possible. Not possible. I was level 3. But it was funny, and I guess you didn't realize at the time.
There have been 2 or 3 times, specifically with Boz, because you continue to do some of the most creative things in the party, where like I can feel the tingle in the back of my head about like he shouldn't be able to do that.
Yep.
And in combat, I'm pretty strict.
Yeah.
I think I've had big grace one time in combat, but otherwise I've been pretty like, no, this doesn't do that.
It's like, good job for being smart, but no.
The other day, one of our players was like, can I blind someone with prestidigitation? And I was like, you super can't. But like 2 or 3 times I've had a tingle in the back of my head, like you shouldn't be able to do that. But I was just kind of like, it's fun. Yeah. And also like by the time players are level 10, I'm not letting people get away with almost anything.
Yeah.
But when you're the low levels and you're still trying to learn how to fall in love with the game, like, and I have like a list with every campaign I run. I always check like a series of homebrew rules I use. Like one is about fall damage. I just cannot make peace with the fact that a player can fall out of low orbit and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna need a band-aid."
Same page,
and,
exact same page.
I mean, and basically with the other party, I was able to be like, the cap's at 50. If you're level 10 or higher, you can just be dropped from low orbit, and you get off the ground, and you're like, I'm gonna need a nap. And so like there's all these rules, but the last rule I always put is the rule of cool abides, because if it's dope and if it doesn't like ruin stakes, I'm always game. Yeah.
Well, apparently we went to the same school on how to DM, because
heck yeah,
I'm like you, I'm like super strict with rules, and actually I've been having to learn it as we go. The rule of cool, like
I was a lot more strict when I started.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a comfort thing, or at least for me, it was a comfort thing.
Yeah.
Like, if I know these rules, I can authoritatively say no or yes. This happens. But the more we played, the more experience I've gotten. I tend to lean towards rules, and I do so more being a podcast, because like all the podcasts I listen to, probably you guys. I want to learn. I want people to learn from us. Listening. So
we want it to be a gateway for them doing their own thing. Yeah. But I agree. I think you said it well when you said it's like a comfort thing, because I think when I was starting, I was like, the quality of my ability as a DM is how accurately I can run the game. And then in time, I was like, no, it's how engaged people can be in the experience and the things we can share. Yeah.
Yep. And I do try, and because of that, like you have homebrew rules. We have homebrew rules. I really try to preface it, like maybe not every time they come up, but especially if a new one's introduced. I'm always clearing
stuff at the party. I never want to blindside them with stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been really good at communicating throughout this and having a lot of grace for us. When the wildfire happened, we hadn't prepared our spells. And so you gave us grace to like say, okay, well, let's do that now before we go into this encounter. And I think that's the only time. And I'm probably
not going to do it again.
I don't expect it. Honestly, I was just like, wow, like, thank you. Like,
well, the only reason I had done it is because, I mean, it's starting to get a lot more balanced now, but so far our campaign has been like 80% role play.
Yeah.
And so you guys hadn't really had the opportunity to learn how spellcasting worked. So I didn't think it was fair for me to give you that massive consequence without you guys. I mean, like, you brought up the preparing spells and Abby was like, what's that? Like, she, the cleric, didn't even know that's how that worked. So that's not fair of me to give you that, what would have been the biggest consequence you could have ever had without knowing how your spellcasting worked. That wouldn't have been fair.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool of you to do, though.
I learned so much. I don't know if you know this, but I learned so much by doing these things. Right now, me and my wife, who are creating our own campaign for all of us to play in, and
it's gonna be sick.
And she has no background in Dungeons and Dragons. Well, minimal. She's played a little bit since I've encouraged her to, but she loves writing. Like you said, she loves writing, and so we're writing it together. And I don't know. I'm just like, definitely gonna go home and take what we talked about and put it into a campaign. So I mean, thank you so much, Jared, for joining us.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, this was
happy to be here.
This is really dope. Yeah. I mean, I was looking forward to this, but I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think it was gonna be this cool.
Yeah,
this is really cool.
So
Thanks
I mean,
for having me.
Oh yeah, no, it's our pleasure, and we're definitely gonna go binge the Shatterblight Chronicles, and if you're listening, you definitely should too.
I mean, the theme song alone,
it was really. The first thing I said was, Zach, you gotta listen to the theme song.
And again, I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, Landon. And then I put it on, and I was like, Thor Ragnarok, let's go.
It doesn't hurt that Nate on the podcast professionally records bands. So
yeah, that does help when you have someone.
Yeah,
that do help.
A little bit of an ace in the hole.
Heck yeah. Well, we really appreciate you being on, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Let me know if you ever want to do it again, or if we can collab on our side sometime or something.
We'd always be down.
Yeah,
100%. Just let us know.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Barely Explained. Catch us next week for another episode of the campaign, and I hope you're having a great day, morning, night, whatever's going on.
Skibbity wop dada.